Hi, ladies. I have gathered a really powerful group of women together today to talk about something that I may have never talked about publicly in this way when talking about the Mentor Masterclass program or even talking about my work in the world. I've kind of always had these deeper themes and things I explore with women that I've never really told them on the front lines, and instead of just kind of sneaked into our healing process together. And I've gathered these women because we have worked together in Mentor Masterclass for a whole year. Some of them even went on to work with me for another year in what used to be called the Sisterhood Mastermind and now is called the Captivating Feminine Leadership Mastermind. And then have gone on to be women who I have promoted their work, who have been sister guides in my program, who are successful women running their life coaching practices now. And one of the themes that comes up and has come up for all of us in our business, and I believe will come up for all women who are trying to do great work in the world, pursue their purpose of becoming a life coach, an influencer, a feminine leader, is this theme of investing in yourself and receptivity. And so the first moment that I realized this was a theme for me was the first moment, and then many reoccurring moments, is any time in my life where I feel like I'm stuck, when I feel like I've kind of hit the upper limit, where it's like I've used all my resources and tools and I'm at a point where I'm feeling like I'm not exactly sure what to do next, and I'm not moving no matter what I try. And it's a recognition of I don't have the resources, which for someone who prides yourself on being a go-getter, on being able to take care of yourself and solve any problem, when you reach that point, I think you have a moment of decision. You're either going to spiral in that same story or you're going to do something to break through. And I believe that the breakthrough has a lot to do with your relationship and healing around receptivity. And to truly heal receptivity for me, I have always had to invest in myself in some way. For me, it's always been big financial investments or massive investments of time and heart that felt very vulnerable or challenging at the time. And what happens is I find, or I see in the world, it's presented to me this resource of, wow, this is the thing that I think has some of what I'm looking for. It's the thing I'm missing. I think this mentor or this program or this lesson or this experience will help me cultivate from within or be able to answer and receive what I need to go to the next space. And what happens in that moment are these really deep questions. For me, it looks like, am I ready? Like, do I really have what it takes to do this? Is this even really what I want to do? And having to get clear about what I want. Then it comes, do I deserve this? Can I actually invest this amount of money? Can I take this time away from other things in my life to grow this thing? Or how? How the hell am I going to make the time or have the money to receive this thing? And this came up 3 pivotal moments in my life. One, when I joined my first life coach training. The second was when I joined a mastermind with powerful influencers for a year-long experience in creating travel. And the third was when I decided to hire a really high-level team in my business and invest in having a support team to run my business. And what I had to do, the challenge was really my issue in my relationship to healing receptivity. And to break through those barriers and get to the other side, which created experience of huge financial growth, of deep inner healing, and creating a life experience I really want in places that were misaligned, was to be able to receive support in a new way that was completely uncomfortable for me. So as a result, this theme of investing in yourself and receptivity has become a pillar in my signature program. And it's something I'm looking for right off the bat when I meet women online, which is something we all share, which I just want to say is amazing, that I met all of you online. We met through the virtual web, however we were connected. And now each and every one of you, I feel, is a true sister and friend and colleague in my life. And we know each other intimately, and we've experienced really incredible, pivotal life moments together over the years. And I think it is us being willing to heal this theme together that has brought us close, that has had us be able to build relationships and businesses. And so I want to talk about this theme more forward, because I know there are women that either unconsciously feel they really want to work on this and heal this, and that's why they're drawn to Mentor Masterclass, and say to them, yes, we will, and this is what it looks like, and this is the truth of what it means to heal receptivity. So when you ladies found Mentor Masterclass, that moment in your life, which is more about you making a decision to pursue a new calling in your life, to really let your own business take the forefront and to shift the way that you've been doing things, were you aware that you had issues of receptivity consciously? And if not, when you look back, did you have issues of receptivity? And how would you say those showed up for you? You know, for example, for me, I wore this idea of I can do it all on my own, and I don't need anyone's help, and receiving help is a weakness. So I'm just wondering, were you consciously aware in that moment that you had issues of receptivity, or was that something that you discovered throughout your journey in Mentor Masterclass and that really kind of unveiled itself to you? And whoever wants to pop in, I'd just love to hear a little bit about that for you, what that was like.
I can jump in. Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be with all of you sisters. Thank you today. I love this question because the truth is that I had no idea that I had a receptivity problem. And, I had my own business before I stepped into Mentor Masterclass. Mentor Masterclass was the glue that brought all of the skills that I had already invested in year after year, to bring it together for me. And I truly had no idea. I just thought, oh, this business is not working because it's so niche. It needs more glue. I need to advertise better. I need to network. And the truth is that I really needed to come into a place of receptivity for me. So no, I had no idea I had a receptivity problem. And one thing that I notice, especially in my own life and in the women that I work with, which tend to be the women that are the empaths, the teachers, the women of service, the HSPs, the highly sensitive women. I believe that we don't actually know that we have a receptivity problem, because what ends up happening is we are so empathic, we feel everybody's everything, we create a wall around us, and then that actually blocks us receiving. So our receptivity is blocked from the inside. And then, that blocks us from all of the opportunities, from networking, from connecting with sisters. And then, yes, we get into this place of stuckness, which is actually resistance from the inside. And so what I have learned is to kind of expand myself and to know that I have really good, healthy boundaries now with all the tools and the skills and the resources that I brought into Mentor Masterclass. And then I had the ability to use them and exercise them and share them, because when we teach, we learn even more, to be able to really take it to the next level and feel really, really strong and stable and confident and whole in what I'm offering the world as a person of service, as an empath, as, a person who is here to teach, and as somebody who's really, really sensitive. So it has absolutely been a huge theme for me that I had no idea was even there, but I'm super grateful to share that with you today.
And as each woman shares, I'll share a little bit of why I specifically invited each of you, to this conversation, because each of you represent a place that other women really identify with, and I think cover a different approach and lensing from where you're coming. And for you, Erica, there are women that come to Mentor Masterclass who have never had any life coach training or no resources. And the program equally serves women who've had all the training, all the resources, all the things, and the frustration that comes from it's still not working. I'm still not getting the thing that I need to feel like I have a grounded, confident approach to building this kind of a business. And what I see in that is it's not usually a problem with the all the programs you've done all the things. And so it's not another thing or a lesson or a tool that you need. It's actually the ability to soften into your confidence around that and receive what you've been trying to call in. And when I see a woman who's done all of those things, who's taken B school, who's done the marketing training, who knows about the funnels, who has already coach training skills, the issue is something so much more intrinsic. It's a block or a wall that you create. And when you talk about being a sensitive person, I see that many of the women that come in who are highly sensitive people have a wall for a reason, to protect themselves. And so I know my job and our work together through the year is to get you to trust the rawness that you feel. Because as a highly sensitive person, I've heard this before, I can't remember where, but when you tap a normal person on the shoulder, it doesn't feel anything, just like bump back. When you tap a highly sensitive, empathic woman on the shoulder, her skin is like a raw, open wound. And that little tap feels so many things. So there's so many band-aids and ways that we say we can't walk out in the world. And so part of you able to bring all your skills together and trust yourself in your business is to create a sense of trust of receiving others' touch. And that means the touch of your clients that are meant to come and the touch of the wounds that need to heal still. And I really recognize that you've done that and wanted to hear you speak on that. So thank you. And that's part of why I invited you. Anybody else want to share?
Hi, Jay, I'll share. Yeah, thanks for having me here today. When Mentor Masterclass kind of came into my awareness, I had been, like Erica, running my business, prior to coming into the program. I actually had been running my business for 13 years. And so for me, this was kind of like a pivotal point because I had felt like along the way I had invested in my business, but I hadn't actually given myself the permission to invest in myself. And so there was I kind of gave everything that I had to my business and really left myself out of the picture, filling myself up, right? And so when Mentor Masterclass came into my awareness, it was the first time where I was really looking at who this program would be for, and it was for me. It wasn't just for my business. It was actually giving back. And, I definitely didn't have the resources or the time is what I falsely believed, right? Is that I kind of had thought,
meaning
I don't know how
I don't have the money or the time to invest in this program.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. There was I have no idea how this is going to happen. And I also didn't know that I would have the time because I was already running my existing business and looking at adding in life coaching. So getting the training as well as creating a life coaching business. So I was I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I just knew at that time it was time to start doing something for me instead of just giving everything away to my business. And so I feel that was a pivotal point. And being able to receive something back for me, it was really challenging. I worked with you on that a lot and have continued to this year, with different opportunities that have come forward. And there's been always that resistance. Oh, am I giving too much to myself, right? And now that I've kind of opened that up, I've been able to change and grow in so many ways because I'm now receiving for myself. So that's been really huge.
This is exactly why I wanted you to come speak, Dawn. So Dawn is currently in Mentor Masterclass, a little over halfway through. And I know a pivotal conversation we had because you are running, she runs Club Minx. It's an in-person studio for healing. She's CEO of it. It's incredible work. She's got a team of women and instructors beneath her. And that business has been burning you the fuck out, and it is not working in its current model. And so I've seen that part of our work and our goal in our year together is how to make that work for you and how to bring and merge your passion for life coaching into the work that you're already doing. And I remember having a conversation with you when the option of the in-person retreat from Mentor Master class came up. And the story was just, I've already invested in myself and I want that more than anything. And I feel like it's the thing that would be be best for me, and I can't because I've already invested in Mentor Masterclass. And I think that's one of the things of receptivity that's so important to acknowledge, is that we act as if it taps out. It's like if we do a little, we have to make up for that. We have to pay for that. And we were even talking about this before we filmed. You know, you were saying you're going on a vacation, as am I next week. And that feeling that you have of, because I'm going on vacation and investing that time in myself, I have to work harder now. I have to pay for it. I don't just deserve that thing to lift me up, to get me refueled. Mm-hmm. I actually have to dip back down and challenge myself and punish myself for what I've created, instead of the real issue that we have as women and business owners is that when we do a lot and we give a lot, whether as empaths or whether as incredible, powerful women running companies, we have to fill up more and more and more. And we have to say yes, and I deserve this. Yes, and I deserve this. Yes, and I deserve this. Even when our husbands are like, but babe, the money didn't come in this month, or, but babe, you went on a retreat last year. Yes, I did. And I deserve it all. And I, in exchange, showing up, taking those resources and those ways that you invest in yourself and you heal that story that you don't deserve, to have the experiences and create the experiences that you want, and taking that energy and bringing it back into your work. And I really have seen you do this. And so you said yes to the retreat, and you're making it happen. And we're working through that this year. And that's a very real life example of how suddenly you're also going back to your work and saying things like, I don't know if I have the right team members. Mm-hmm. And then we're working together to re-identify and rehire, so you feel supported there because you did this work to say, I deserve these things. And now you're looking at fundamental things in your business that actually aren't working. Like team members that should be giving you more for what you're paying them for. Mm-hmm. And that's how those things interconnect into your business, right? Like it's not just, oh, I'm doing this feminine thing and taking care of myself. It's I'm teaching myself the pillar of what it takes to run a successful company and be a leader in these times, which is, I just want to reflect back to that I see you doing that. And it's so powerful and beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you for all your coaching and guidance along the way. I'm definitely still learning, but the biggest thing I'm taking away is that I do deserve to feel really good in my business. I deserve to feel really good in my life, right? And I'm doing great work, but I don't have to come last, right? And so that's been so powerful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Good morning. I just wanted to say that, oh my goodness, even in this moment and listening to you all talk here, you're speaking to my heart. I know one of the things for me, winning the scholarship to do Mentor Masterclass was big, because I was raised to believe that in order for me to receive something, there had to be an exchange, that it wasn't safe to receive without giving something in return. And so as I listened to you and Don talk just now, oh my goodness, you're speaking to my heart.
I want to pause and make sure people understand, Crystal. So Crystal, we run a scholarship program every year during the holiday challenge, and we get hundreds of applications in, and we choose one scholarship winner. And Crystal was the scholarship winner this year. And I've invited you here because, like I said, investing in ourselves is not always about money. There are other things. And I know that you're going to have a unique journey for healing in your ability to receive that scholarship. And even who you are as a woman to have won it out of so many people that were going for it. So I want to make sure everyone understands that as they hear you tell your story around this.
Yeah. Definitely no. It's just, it was huge for me to apply for the scholarship. I knew that coaching was something that I was called to do, but I didn't have the resources to pay for the class at the time. And so I went for it. I filled out the scholarship application and just said, okay, universe, this is truly, I feel this is where I need to be. If this is truly where I need to be, let me win this. And I will put in all the time, and I will put all the effort, and I will just pour myself into this program. And when I won that scholarship, oh my gosh, it still seems surreal. Someone could still pinch me at this moment. But it took me Hang on one second, Jay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, while you're pausing, I just want to say you're saying that you just left it up to the universe, and I want to tell everyone that that is not what she did. Crystal was devoted every single day of the holiday challenge. She showed up. She put her time and her energy, and despite being online and thousands of women doing this challenge, she made herself known. She supported other women. She showed up every day. She participated. She was vulnerable. She gave. She received. And that is why and how you won that scholarship. And while I love that the universe supports us too and had to play, you really created that for yourself in the way that you said, I'm allowing myself to receive the gifts of this experience and go all in with it and use the tools in every daily video to influence my life and have an impact on me. I'm willing to receive the sisterhood, and I'm willing to apply for this scholarship and receive it and have my dream realized. So I want to reflect that to you too.
I appreciate that so much, Jay. And again, that's the beautiful thing about this program. Even in this moment, I'm having to learn and work on that. Like, it's okay to say that you did a good job, and it's okay to give to yourself. And I was just in such, and still am working through this, Jay, with pouring everything out to my children, pouring everything out to my husband, supporting him in his own endeavors, supporting my children in theirs, and realizing that, hey, Crystal, you do deserve something. It's so you do deserve to win this scholarship. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay, and it's been the most beautiful experience of my life, hands down, because I'm healing myself, and my children are getting a chance to watch me put me first and say, this is the time that I need to do this program. And these are the things that I need to do this program, and they're witnessing that. So they'll be able to, walk those same, they'll be able to live their lives out a different way than I witnessed my mother living her life out, which was just to pour everything into me. So, yeah.
So not only do I hear that you're healing that family lineage from being passed down as a wound from generation to generation, but what you're speaking to is what I hear so many women say in their application and when they decide to join or not to join. And I'm using Mentor Masterclass as the example because I want people to understand it, but we have these moments all the time in our life. It doesn't have to be Mentor Masterclass that's the thing for you. But this is a lot of the story of women. I have to ask my husband if it's okay if I do this, and my children come first. And while I'm all for having a partnership where you align with your husband and you make sure you guys are making choices for your path together, I also see that women often do not bring their power, and they let their husbands' view of what they're capable of or what they need in their life overtake the decision. Whereas I feel it should be a decision that you're able to come to from a receptive place and say, here's what I think is possible from this, and this is why I need it and why it's a great investment. But in order to come with that level of confidence, you have to be willing to receive. You have to heal that issue within yourself, and your husband's confidence and fear will override if you don't bring your sovereignty to that situation. And I see it so many times with women. And so not only do they heal their receptivity issue, marriages are healed in the process of this, where a new level of communication and support and budgeting even emerges. But with children, which is something for many years I ran Mentor Masterclass, and Kristen, this might lead to you because I remember you always reflected this back to me. Many years I ran Mentor Masterclass, I wasn't a mother yet, and I had strong expectations for my students who were mothers in saying that just because you're a mother does not mean you can't do this. Did I fully understand the intricacies of being a mother? No, and my clients would always tell me that. But I actually, now that I am a mother and I look back, I stand by the level of accountability that I gave to mothers because they need it even more because of the mom guilt, because of the feeling that your children have to be your whole life. And there are moments where they do, where they need you and their survival is is on you. And there are other moments where they'll be okay, or dad can step in if you recognize that you can still have a life and curate a life for yourself while being a mom. And Kristen, this is one of the reasons why I invited you to this conversation, because that was a big story for you. So I wonder if that kind of leads into what you want to share, or anything that you've learned around this. Did you know you had issues of receptivity when you joined Mentor Masterclass?
I don't think consciously, probably not. No. And one of the beautiful things that I learned, one of the big things I learned in Mentor Masterclass is the notion that the feminine is the receptive and the masculine is the giving. And I say that in my women's circles now, and women still laugh. They're like, what? We give, and they receive, they don't take, but men don't have an issue. Our men don't have an issue with receiving. Why do we have this issue with receiving? And when I entered Mentor Masterclass, I had been a stay-at-home mother for 13 years. And I had 3 children in 3 years' time. And that is a lot of giving. And it's highly rewarding to give in that role. You know, we get a lot back. But it definitely
Sometimes.
Yes, in all sorts of forms, right? But it is it's a selfless job, and it is the notion of receiving was more about, I need this because otherwise, like, I'm going to lose it. You know what I mean? It's that filling of the bucket. And I had gotten really good at that, at finding out what it was that I needed to ask for and kind of stand for myself, so that I could get myself out of a place of depletion, because I was giving so much. And it was all within that role of mother. So in saying yes to Mentor Masterclass, one of the big hurdles that I had to get over was, is this responsible? You know, is this a responsible use of our resources? Is this responsible as far as what my obligations are at home, to my children, to my family, to my community that I was, you know, an active volunteer in, and all of that. I had to shift. And it was similar to what Dawn was saying about being receptive for me, for my spirit, for the wholeness of who I am, and not just within this role, not just this tit for tat even exchange, similar to what Crystal was saying, right? It was, this is going to help me to be more fulfilled and to show up in the world in all the ways, more authentically, more boldly, and with greater impact. It took me a long time to get there. And I still am always, that role is a very, I always say it's my favorite role. Mother is my favorite role, but it's not who I am. So it requires strong boundaries, and I'm still always, I mean, kids use a lot of resources, a lot. And it's setting boundaries about saying, this is not only what I deserve, but this is essential for all of us. And I always say that that kind of my why underneath it is so I can model for my daughters and for my son how important it is to say yes to the things that your soul is called to do.
I have so witnessed you do that, and time again. And something that you said really stood out to me, which I never became aware of until running this program now for almost 7 years, and having 7 different groups of women that I get to be really intimate with each year run through it. And one thing that I've learned is that, you know, when you're talking about the masculine can receive and the feminine we don't, but it's what the feminine is. I've now become, I guess, a feminist because I look at our patriarchy and the messages that we're fed everywhere. And after years and years of having conversations with women around this and working so intimately for a year to see what's causing this, the messaging is everywhere. The messaging says, women give. This is their job. They are mothers. It's they are meant to be nurturing and loving and give outward.
And sacrificing.
And the women who are highly career driven, there's an undercurrent of something's wrong with them, or they're bitchy or bossy, or they're not good mothers. You're not a good mother if you are a successful woman. Your mothering must have been the sacrifice that you made to be successful. And I say that's bullshit when we learn that as women, if we actually come back to the messaging that we're being able to find in more spaces as women leaders speak up and are clear, that we're messy and we're brilliant. And we actually, when we're given permission to, and when we stop living for the permission and give it to ourselves and empower ourselves, we're pretty good at receiving. And when we receive, yeah, we have a lot more to give, really quick, really powerfully, really geniusly and brilliantly. But we can't get to that when we're tapped out and running on empty, and that's kind of what we're kept at in so many ways, judging our bodies and saying you have to look this way in order to be powerful or feel good about yourself or be deserving. In motherhood, in even just the natural way that it's like we're meant to be the ones to wash the dishes. So much of my coaching and mentor masterclass is encouraging women to get a damn maid so they can run their business. And that, guess what? Your husband can change a fucking diaper and wash some dishes. Like, why do you think it has to be your job? And that frees up so much time. And then suddenly, we have time to focus on maybe running a business and thinking of a program and putting it out there. And
I really believe too, like asking that question, is this true? Like, where did this come from? All the stories we tell ourselves about, what we're supposed to be doing or what's appropriate. The more and more we all do that as women, that is what is going to heal the planet right now.
I think that's why I'm obsessed with coaching and why I believe we need women. Even if women don't want to become a life coach, I think every woman should have life coach training, because you learn how to ask questions. You learn how to question things, and then you question something and suddenly this box you've been living in this is the way, this is how you do things, opens up, and there's a whole other plethora of resources from which to pull from. Mm-hmm. I want to hear from you, Emily. I know, your transition has been massive over the years. You started in a full-time job, quit that, went on to become a women's leadership coach yourself. And now you're traveling the world currently. Have totally left the box completely. You just continue to leave the boxes over and over. So were you aware that you had a receptivity issue, and how has healing this, been an influence in the successes you've seen and the changes you've done in your own life and business?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat about this. So I would say I wouldn't have called it a receptivity issue, but I would have said probably I feel stuck or things aren't working, which now I understand is a receptivity issue, because if we don't have the flow of giving and receiving in balance, that sense of flow is really what I'm super geeked out about all the time. So yeah, I think that I definitely did, but I wouldn't have called it that. And I did come into Mentor Masterclass really looking for the technical training to become a life coach, to start my own business, to not just learn the skills and all the things that I needed to know, but also to take care of myself in the process, because I knew that I had a tendency to overdo and like overachieve and be ambitious, but that it would sometimes keep me stuck. It would sometimes keep me from actually creating the results that I knew I was capable of, or reaching my full potential in things, because I just felt like buried under all of the commitments that I've said yes to, or, many other things. And I think coming into Mentor Masterclass, I really was inspired to not just become a life coach and learn the training, like I said, but also to create a lifestyle of freedom. And that meant time, financial, location, freedom. And that was like what I was really envisioning for myself coming in. So I think all of that being said, I think receptivity is something that opened the doorway and the pathway for me to be able to create all of that. And it's kind of a really awesome full circle moment at this time, having this conversation with you and sitting in circle virtually with all of these amazing women, because I remember, like, Jay, our first conversation when this was all like such a dream. It was like a fantasy. It felt like maybe someday I can create that. And I remember looking back and seeing, like, you know, on my little backs of the menus I used to write on in my college, like, hostessing job, I would write down like goals and things that I wanted and what I wanted my life to look like. And I remember writing down, like, by the time I'm 26, I will start my own business. Like, I will be starting my business. And I'm 26 now. And I think I started my business at 22 full time. So, and came into Mentor Masterclass around the time that I turned 22, my 22nd birthday, which is kind of wild. But yeah, like, I don't know. It's just such a treat to be here today to have this conversation about receptivity, because it is so important. And I'm so glad that I learned that lesson so early on in my life by working with you in Mentor Masterclass and having that really, like, interwoven into every conversation that we had. And I think these stories and these narratives culturally are so deep for women that we really do need to be having them constantly and be reminded constantly and be supported in an environment of sisterhood, so that we can start to rewire and step out of the boxes that we've been living in and really create new paradigms and new pathways and really be the trailblazers that I think we're all here to be as women leaders and women whose souls feel called to service and who feel called to make an impact.
I always forget you were 22, because any woman that's younger that comes into Mentor Masterclass is always so mature, and as was I. I mean, I was featured in an article in the New York Times, as you guys know, that said, should a life coach have a life first? Because I was young and doing amazing things. And what I've seen in Mentor Masterclass over the years is that journey of receptivity is different too. For you, it's so powerful that you came in early and before starting your business, because I think there you have built an unbreakable foundation from which I think you're just going to continue to grow massive, beautiful structures on. And you have. In 5 years, what you've done with your business is absolutely amazing and so powerful. And I think I wish I came in that way. You know, I wish I had been learning these things before I kind of started and had some bad habits in place. And then there are other women that come into Mentor Masterclass and we have to, like, literally jackhammer out that foundation that got them pretty far. It's a little bit more work, and that is part of my work coaching too, is we have to, like, build an entire new foundation. And what I see though is that no matter what the women do, when we learn receptivity as a pillar, and I view it because it's feminine, this is kind of my new visualized, like, you know, pillars usually look like concrete, hard, unbreakable forces. But when I'm working with women in the second level mastermind after Mentor Masterclass, now what I'm looking at is, I think a pillar is more like, it's like a beautiful glass of water, like what it's fluid and moving within. There's structure and a solid container from which to hold accountable and create a routine and a system and a structure to harness the masculine. But the water shifts and changes and flows differently within it. And when you create pillars and foundations as a woman that are like that, they really are unbreakable. You'll never feel stuck. You'll always feel your ability to flow and follow your model in through changes in culture, in through changes in marketing structures, into what life changes, business changes, and you have to be adaptable and find your way to be sustainably successful. So we've had a beautiful conversation, always longer than, I could just talk with you guys my whole life, and we will keep talking our whole lives around these, I know. But to close, what I really would love to just hear a few things is, what are the real tangible celebrations? Like the things that you would really say, like, this is something I tangibly want to celebrate as a result of my healing this and working with this theme of receptivity and being willing to address it within Mentor Masterclass and receive coaching around it and move through it. What are some of the things you'd like to celebrate about where you're at in your life and business as a result?
I can do this one first. We'll just go backwards.
Perfect.
So I think what I really want to celebrate right now is being able to build a business that supports me taking time away from, like, well, not really time away, but breaking the shell of like paying rent every month and doing X, Y, and Z and having this very like linear way of being, to being nomadic for who knows how long, but a couple months at least, and being able to travel all over the world and work while I'm doing it and be inspired and meet new people and just like shake up the energy of my whole life to see what wants to shift and be able to still maintain that foundation of my business that's financially supportive, and can be done from anywhere in the world and will be, throughout the process of travel and life and so many changes in my personal world right now. So I'm really excited.
Just really
about
quick,
that.
Emily, where have you traveled already and where else are you going?
Well, so far I've been to Savannah, New York, Philadelphia area, and then my international travels start Saturday. So I'll be going to Paris, Barcelona, Copenhagen, London, Frankfurt, Germany, back to Philadelphia, Bali for 5 weeks, Australia for about 2 weeks, and Costa Rica to lead a retreat for about a week, maybe a little longer. And then it's open, so I'm not sure yet after that.
I have chills all over. You created this life. She's doing this from her running your coaching business while you travel. It's amazing. I'm so excited and so proud of you and so inspired.
Thank you.
Yes.
And thank you for helping and being the catalyst for all of it.
You're welcome. More celebrations. What else?
Hi, Jay. I'll share next. I think as I am reflecting back on what I'm celebrating the most, I think, although there's been so many big things that have happened for me this year already, I would say I'm celebrating having the courage to make some really hard transitions and changes within my business, and actually being solid within myself to work through all those changes and the kind of roller coaster that comes with that, and actually now starting to see being on the other side of it, where I just got through like a really tough 6 months of kind of changing almost every aspect of my business.
Could you give just one clear thing, Dawn? Like, what was one of the things you've done actually that was hard?
I would probably say the team transitions. Actually having to have really tough conversations with people that were on my team that were no longer the right fit for me and my vision moving forward. So one was reclaiming like my vision, or establishing my vision and making that, like, stepping forward and making that more vocal. Because for years, I think, especially as I had my 2 little girls, like I kind of hid behind, and wasn't really stepping forward as much of a leader as I am now. And so now that I'm stepping forward as a leader and saying, this is what my company stands for, this is what the vision is, this is what I'm moving towards. I've also had to assess who's on my team and who's the right fit, and actually had to have some really tough conversations and transition some people off my team. So that's like never a feel good thing. But in the same sense, every time I made those tough decisions and every time I made more steps towards the vision of what I'm creating, I just would get that like kind of ease within myself. Like, okay, you know, even though this is hard, I'm getting through this. And even to have the confidence to be able to do that, that was new for me. And I think that's been the difference, is as I've built myself, worked from the inside out in Mentor Masterclass, I've been able to find the courage to do that. So yeah, even though it's like been challenging, I'm really celebrating being on this side of all of that work.
I'm just going to say Sister speaks for me. It's been an honor to support you in this because the past 2 years I had to really learn all those lessons. It's the first time in our coaching relationship that I'm like, great, I'm getting to pass on the knowledge of going through that really hard understanding of that a lot of us don't. I know when I became a coach, I was always thinking about it as me and my business. I never realized that if you really grow a 6-figure coaching business, you're going to need a team. You don't do it by yourself, which will lead to another conversation we're going to have at a future date about being the lone warrior and being supported in sisterhood. But it's intricate work to know how to lead a team and to have a team. And it's so powerful that you're doing this. I'm so excited to see even what more is to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've got a celebration, Jay. In the work that I do, my work is very informed by the cycles of nature, and by the practice of feng shui. It's all intricately connected. And the theme of receptivity is directly related to our intimate relationships, actually. You can't have that deep, intimate relationship with others if you're unable to receive. And so my healing of this receptivity has actually helped me, one, heal that sisterhood wound. You know, I didn't have those deep connections with women. And it's allowed me to use my voice more in my partnership and be a stand for what I know I'm worthy of. And what that's done is it has deepened my connection to not only my husband, but to the women in my life. So healing that receptivity piece has enriched all of my relationships, which might have seemed counterintuitive at the beginning. Mm-hmm. And now I see that it's key.
Mm-hmm. Same. Also speaks for me. Never knew that all the intimacy issues I thought I had in my marriage and blamed on Brent had everything to do with me being comfortable with being intimate. And my comfort with intimacy is directly related to how much love I'm actually willing to receive, how much I'm actually willing to be seen. So I fully understand how important that is for you to celebrate, and how we don't associate that to the success of other things in our life. But what I know for most of us as women is when our relationships are rocky and things are off, it's almost impossible to show up to work. It consumes our mind and our heart, and we're so sidetracked by the drama and the pain of like the heartbreak that happens. So when you are creating solid relationships in sisterhood and solid partnerships with the lover in your life, it's so intricately related to the foundation of your business too. Thank you, Kristen. Crystal or Erica, anything quick you guys want to share before we wrap this up?
Yes, I am 100% celebrating putting myself first and implementing self-care, because that was something that I was not used to doing, that I have been consistently doing since the program, and also celebrating putting my business second, self-care first and business second, and reaching my goals. So that's what I'm celebrating.
My celebration is very direct. Before coming into Mentor Masterclass, I wrote a 4-module program. And coming into Mentor Masterclass, I think I came in January, and by March and April, I was writing the next version. I made it 6 modules, and I've already, I'm running it for the second time through. And so for that, my celebration is that I allowed myself to find my voice. I allowed myself to articulate my wisdom and gave the outlet that I truly needed and wanted, so that what was inside had an opportunity to be on the outside. So that is my biggest celebration, and I'm so excited to share it with the world. It's beautiful work. Love it.
Ladies, deep reverence and gratitude for being here in this conversation today. I know that we are still on our journeys for receptivity, and we'll continue to break through even more with this. I want to put all of your social media handles below, so that women who are watching this, I believe these are women you can look to as role models to see how they're navigated and growing and running their businesses. If you're especially resonate with a certain theme or an issue that has been healed here, please follow them and follow the journey and support and connect. And ladies, thank you for having this conversation, because again, I think what we learned is most women would not label it an issue of receptivity. I don't actually think we are aware. But what I want women to know is that I know and I'm aware. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't scaled Mentor Masterclass in 7 years to having someone else lead the program or turning it into videos. I have to be there to see what's the intricate thing and what's this year really look like, and what will it take to heal each woman in their own way together when we walk that path. And it's my favorite part about the program. It's nothing I plan to change soon. And I want women to, maybe even in the process of applying and early on in their decision, start to tune into this, because even if you don't join the program and we don't do the work together, the awareness that's created now is going to open a portal where they might heal it in some other way. So thank you so much for this conversation, and we'll be complete from there. Good luck, ladies, with your receptivity healing who are watching this.